Rob, we heard even if, Ben Maller, if you listen to, I believe it was Ben, you hear the drops during the breaks and stuff.
That was when he was with me, Chris, when you were doing the TV. Ben, that came from our show.
Was he saying that the Chiefs are a dynasty? So he was saying, obviously, if they win Sunday.
That this is the modern day dynasty is different from when I'm like, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go first. You go first. Because I had already chimed in. You know what I mean? Let people hear what you have to say about this, and then I'll jump in.
The Kansas City Chiefs are not yet a dynasty. Can we stop it?
Yes.
Stop it. And the fact that you have to say, well, it's different from the 70s and the 80s. No, it ain't. I get it. It's harder probably to have a dynasty because, the free agency and everything. Although, Rob, we had a dynasty late in the 2010s, right? Brady and Belichick, they win 3 out of 4. There was a dynasty early in the 2000s. Yep. They win 3 out of 4 when Brady first comes on the scene. The 90s Cowboys, 3 out of 4.
Yep, that was a dynasty.
And then the Niners, the 49ers of the 80s won 4 in 9 years. So it's not like even in that time, Robin, the Steelers won 4 out of 6 years in the 70s. Even in those times, it was still difficult. 4 in 9 years.
Right.
And so for the Niners. So I still think, even though free agency has changed things, a dynasty is still a dynasty. What I will give the Chiefs, Rob, I will call them a mini dynasty. Like, and this is a different sport, but still, do you view the Pistons of Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars as a dynasty?
No.
Right. I'd say a mini dynasty.
Yeah, not a dynasty.
They won 2 straight. They got to 3 straight finals. And just like the Chiefs, Rob, they got to 5 straight Eastern Conference finals.
Here's why the Chiefs aren't a dynasty. They didn't make the Super Bowl last year, and the year before they lost. Like, Chris, that's 3 years. How is that a dynasty? They didn't make it last year. They lost the year before, and this year they won.
They had won in 2 years.
Right. How's that a dynasty? That's not a dynasty. I always believe what you said. 3 in a row or 3 out of 4.
That's never even happened in the Super Bowl.
No, but I'm saying like to win. I'm just saying that like 3 in a row or 3 out of 4. That to me, like the Cowboys, that was a dynasty, Chris. 3 out of 4 is a dynasty. Not winning 2 like the Spurs.
2 is not. I think you got to win at least 3 to be a dynasty.
Right, I do too. And like the Spurs, they won 5 championships. That was nice. Over 20 years. How's that a dynasty?
I think the Spurs are a dynasty.
I don't. They never even won back-to-back, Chris. They never won back-to-back.
Here's why I say they were a dynasty. And it's somewhat different in the sports. We probably slightly different in NBA and versus football. But I think the Spurs were a dynasty, Rob, because it was all rooted around Tim Duncan. And it was like, I think continuity is critical. It was the same coach, the same star player, and they won 5. Like, I get it, and I can go along with doing it for the sake of discussion that we break Brady's, and Belichick's run into 2 dynasties, right? But I got to be honest, when I look at the whole Brady-Belichick era, I'll refer to it, in the future, this is the Brady-Belichick dynasty.
No, but there were 2, Chris. It wasn't. It was 2. They went 10.
They went a decade.
They went a decade without winning. How could that be a part of what they did 13 years ago?
Because it was the same players, and they still were good. They still got to the Super Bowl a couple times. I hear you, but I think I just view, and I'll say this, Rob. I do think that the Chiefs are on their way to a dynasty. I mean, we'll see, but I do think, I believe in Patrick Mahomes. I do think they will become a dynasty, Rob. So let me ask you this. I assume you'll agree with this because this is what the Niners of Joe Montana did. If they win 4 in 9 years, say maybe they don't win back-to-back. I think they got a good chance to win back-to-back. But let's say they don't for the sake of discussion. They win 4 titles in 9 years. So Mahomes, in his first 9 years as a starter, has 4 Super Bowls. you would, I imagine, consider this a dynasty.
No.
Really?
I wouldn't, because unless those 4, Chris, he'd have to win 3 at some point, 3 out of 4 to honestly be a dynasty. Like
wow.
I that's the way I look at it. Because you know what? When they talk about dynasties, and you can help me, because I might be off. Is Steve DeSager there? Steve, is he there or no? Rob G?
He's all
right,
in his room searching
all right,
for news.
Rob G, you might know too. Okay.
Sorry, I was talking to Iowa Samson production stuff.
So we're talking about dynasties. But when people talk about it, like when they talk about the Ming dynasty, right, in Asia and China or whatever, or Japan, right? It's about a family, like keeping, like the son becomes the king. Like that's what a dynasty is. It's like succession. Like there's no break.
Okay, but
but there's no. But I'm talking about there's no break.
So let me ask you. So then the Montana Niners were not a dynasty.
Did they win 3 in a row? They didn't win 3. No, they're not a dynasty.
No NFL teams ever won 3 in a row.
No, but the Cowboys won 3 out of 4. That's a dynasty.
Yeah, but they are, to me, the Cowboys and Brady's 2 runs with the Patriots. Those are like dynasties, but they had to win 3 out of 4 because that's all they won.
No, but I get it.
They didn't win anymore.
But that's a dynasty to me.
Short-lived dynasties. Montana, and this is why I say Brady or the Spurs, they had a long dynasty, long run.
But why
having Montana was like every year you're in it. Having Duncan, having Brady, every year you're in it.
But, Chris, you can't be a dynasty when you didn't even win back-to-back. Like, the Spurs never won back-to-back. They never followed up with another one. That's why they're not a dynasty. They can't be.
Obviously, there's no official
we're
dictionary
talking,
with dynasty, but
everybody has a different take.
I do not think that you have to win. Like, I think it's a feel. I think the Showtime Lakers were a dynasty. Now, they did win back-to-back. I consider Bird's Celtics, Rob, a dynasty. They won 3 in 6 years, and that's all they won. And they didn't go. They didn't go back to back.
Yeah, they're not a dynasty.
But I consider that run a dynasty. It's different to me. It's just a feel. We all look.
Wait a minute. Is that during the same time of the Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not a dynasty would be you ran.
Well, then
the league.
Lakers couldn't be a dynasty either.
Why? But they won how many in a row did the Lakers? 3?
2.
Okay, but did they win 3 out of 4? I don't know the years.
The Lakers won 87, 88.
What was the other
85.
Year? Okay, that's not a dynasty.
3 and 4. They won 3 and 4.
3 and 4 years
did
is
they
a
win
dynasty.
85?
Rob G, do you remember what years?
No, I don't know if they won 86.
They won 80, 82, 85, 87, 88. So by Rob's definition, yes.
85.
They won 3 out of 4.
They're a dynasty. I see the 3 in a row.
I don't know where you
4.
come up with 3 out of 4.
Well, Chris, I have a question, just because I want to understand what you're saying. I understand Rob; he's very clear. 3 in a row or 3 out of 4, and your definition is a little bit confusing because, by the way you're explaining it, there was multiple dynasties at the same time. If you're talking about Bird Celtics and Magic's Lakers, and
I do.
How is that
just
possible?
Like I think there were 2 faces of the league at that time.
No, but you
Magic
can't. A
and
dynasty
Bird.
means you dominated, and you know what I mean. So it wouldn't make sense that 2 teams. They kept splitting championships. That's not a dynasty. You got to, to me, win.
To me, it's a feel. I hear you. I get it. But I feel like the Bird Celtics, like we talk about them, like the Bird Celtics.
Rob G,
I feel like that was a dynasty. The Showtime Lakers, dynasty. The Jordan Bulls, and they won enough. I mean, I get it that people may say LeBron's Heat teams, but they didn't win enough. I do feel like you got to win 3. And again, it's my feel about it.
No, I get it. Rob G.
Yours is more concrete. I'll give you that, your definition.
Rob G, as a younger guy and people saying, because you hear the Chiefs stuff, that they're a dynasty despite they hadn't won the last 2 Super Bowls. Are you on that thing that they're a dynasty?
No. That's just one of those things that people want to upsell what they're seeing. And it's the Chiefs are great. They've dominated the AFC for half a decade.
Right.
They're an AFC dynasty.
Right, absolutely. If you want to, but in the same way the Buffalo Bills were an AFC dynasty.
Right. Well, they won 2 Super Bowls, but I hear you.
Right, but they won, and they went to 4 straight.
They went to 4 straight, and it's like, cool, but That's not the definition. I mean, there's too many great teams historically in any sport for you to say winning 2 out of 5 championships
is a dynasty.
Right. And 2 out of 4. Look, the Roethlisberger Steelers won 2 out of 4. In the,
and nobody refers to them as a dynasty.
Nobody thought of them as a dynasty.
See, there you go, Chris.
That's yeah. But I do look just like in like I said, I think you can have 2 dynasties that like Bird, Magic. And I think there are eras where there's no dynasty.
Oh, there's plenty
like
of those.
That, right? Like people, like I heard Ben Maller was saying because they're the best team of this 5-year stretch or whatever, and they clearly are. That makes them a dynasty. I don't think every era has a dynasty.
No, it's not that. You got to win championships, dominate, and win multiple championships. And that's what I have against the Spurs is that they never even won back to back. I just think that's hard to look at them and think that they were. And I get it, Chris. The same crew and Tim Duncan and Pop. They had a great thing going, but 5 championships in 20 years. It doesn't feel right. I love to hear what people say on this because everybody has different definitions. You have one, I have one, but you see mine is centered on.
No, yours is more concrete.
Yeah,
it's black and white. 3 or 3 out of 4. Right. Yeah, I'm more of a. Does it feel?
Feels like a dynasty
or whatever.